Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I'm back. It's Sunday, February 25th. I hope everybody is well. Let's see, let me make a list up of who's got plugged in for readings and then put the payment method and we'll get started. If anybody wants to join us. I think y'all are so used to me being late. Ooh. Let's see. Got Devry in here so far. Hi, Devry. How's your mama doing? Hi, Ashley. I got your email. Thank you for the validations. She's up and down, but doing okay. You know, I just realized this. I wonder if like sometimes, okay, so like this is mirrored, so I have to like do this opposite. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't see your comments. I'm wondering if I have it on the, like it says there's two different options for chat. There's live chat and then there's the other one. I don't know what the other one is. What is the other one? Top chat. And I think that might be why I'm missing some of your comments. I don't know why. So we'll just, I don't know if you guys have questions, just Deborah, if you want to ask yours. Let me put the link for my to payment because someone said they were going to come. I don't know, from Instagram. So we'll see what happens with that. Might be a quiet Sunday. Hi, Julia. Good evening to you. General about moving and data analysis. I still get June for moving, my dear. There's something that's going to coincide with it. So I don't know if it's like another person moving too, but like, sorry, I took a shower before my kids had ice skating lessons this morning. And so, because they have a public skate session afterwards. And so my hair just kind of dried, however, and I didn't look at it. And then we were skating around because my youngest wanted me to go skating with them today. So that's what we did. Okay. So I keep getting June still for that. But so I saw something where it was like, I don't know if it's like you moving in with somebody else or somebody else is moving at the same time, but there's something around that. And I do get like the plans for it are made in May and the move happens in June. It was so exciting to see my friend so shocked when everything you said happened. Oh, I love that. So I don't remember reading for I vaguely remember reading for your friend with not the baby one, the other one. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Ice skating is a lot of fun. I mean, literally like have gone a handful of times. I think I'm going to take lessons the next round of like lessons that they have because they have adult lessons. And I guess I didn't realize it or didn't think, I don't know. But so like I'm learning to skate backwards and do like little swizzles and things like that. Super fun. My little one was like, cause she was skating towards me. And so I was skating backwards, kind of watching her. And she was like, why do you keep skating backwards? And I was like, well, it's fun. And she's like, it's hard and I can't do it. Don't do it. I was like, okay. She's even more relieved now. Okay, good. Okay. So I don't know if the moving thing makes sense to you. I'm on the data analysis job so much. I'm on it so much because it's more convenient in regards to my transportation situation. It's a remote job. Beautiful. So, there's something about Thursday with that one. So I don't know if you're going to hear about it on Thursday or. And I know you're remote, but I still feel like either there's like a weekly or a couple times a week check-in where you have to like have meetings with people in the office. This is like, I don't know, my curls are sorry. It may not bother you, but it bothers me. So it'll keep pulling my eye to it if I don't do something about it. Sorry. Um, I do feel like you're gonna get offered it. I know that just doesn't sound like I know that's like not um yeah, you know what's hang on, Ashley, what's funny about the weekly drawings thing is I email people out and then nobody takes them. Like literally, I have all like around 300 people on my list. I'll email people and say like you won the weekly drawing and like nobody shows up for them. So Devry, let me focus on Devry really quick. Okay, the moving part I don't know about. I just know my sister Nina is trying to move to around that time. We were trying to move where our other sister. Okay, so maybe that's why I'm seeing like two people happening at once or something. I didn't know if it's together or I honestly I know it's maybe not ideal for you. I wouldn't be surprised if you lived with your sister. I get the feeling like it's mutually beneficial. So this is weird. Hang on. I just got something about like crawfish. I was like, wait, when is crawfish season? So I want to see if that maybe coincides with something. Hmm. That's January to July. Um, so the big part around that job is that I keep feeling, and I'm gonna have to say this is like it's literally like you having to be like, I have it, it's mine, and like not doubting it, not which I know isn't a great thing to hear, but it's literally like that's all I keep feeling is like she has it. She has to like really own that she has it. It's hers. It's done. They both have a lot of kids and that's not ideal for me. I was considering staying with my mother. I just so maybe it's you with your mom because I feel you're not alone. That's the thing. I don't feel like you end up alone. Um, I'm gonna say this though with your mom, and I know you already said that, like she'll get on your nerves a little bit. And I know you mentioned that she's kind of naggy, but I feel like she'll kind of get on your nerves a little bit. But it'll be okay. Gia. Gia, I got your payment. But I feel like I do feel like actually she might need some help for a while. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up with long COVID. Like just more fatigue, a little more needing a little more help around the house. But with the job, as far as the job is concerned, it's like I feel like it's yours. It just feels like you also have to really get into the mindset of like this is mine, without any doubt, without any like certain, with just complete certainty. This is mine. It's done. I just saw you donated, Gia. And let me just check because I got another one there, Andrea. He's thinking of staying the rest of the year with her, but I don't know. I mean, I think you'll see after this that it might be important for her. QWERTY. Okay, so Gia and QWERTY, I got your payments. I'm sorry. I feel like I've been a little bit scattered and not giving you enough attention. I apologize. Do you have to pick up some of your stuff before your sisters come over? Is there something like a feeling of like I have to hide certain things or because I saw you like picking little things up and kind of like tucking them away. Um, and it feels like before a visitor comes and then and it doesn't feel like um, they make a mess. Okay. Because I'm like, I just see you like picking things up. I'm like, did they mention when that data analysis job starts? Because I'm getting something about March and I'm like leaning towards it being that. So I feel like it would really be um, good for you to email them and just say like, I'm really interested. I'm, wondering what's going on, kind of ask. I do feel like they drag their feet a little bit, but I also feel like it's good to show when you interview with a company to show that you're really interested in the position. Um, I remember like when I was applying, when there was a job I wanted at Texas Children's Hospital, which I ended up getting, but like I had put in they were just kind of starting on the computer applications and stuff. So I put my application in and then I was like, I hadn't heard from them. And I called them and just said, hey, I'm going to be in town. I put in an application. They're like, oh, we can't find it. I was like, well, they're like, oh, can we interview you while you're here? I was like, yeah, that was like kind of the point. So I didn't wait to show in. I didn't wait for them to call me and be like, oh, I don't know what's happening. Like I was really proactive about it. And I remember then coming up here as a traveler and people talking about getting jobs and stuff. And I was like, why don't you just contact them? And that was like, what? Like it seemed unheard of. And I just thought, I don't know. I want a job. I know you're hiring and I want you to think that I'm eager for it. And I'm excited about it. And like, you can do that without being a pain in the, you know? So I was kind of like, I'm in town if you want to interview me. Like really I was very straightforward about it. And to me, it's a feeling of it's yours, but you have to you have to sort of decide it's yours in your head. But I also get this feeling that you should reach out and say like, hey, this is a job I'm really, really interested in. I'm wondering where are you guys at in the process of choosing a candidate. And am I still, because I'm really interested in this. Oh, that's the one with the sick lady. So maybe that's what it is about Thursday is you'll get a call to come in on Thursday or something. And I feel like the March means that's when you would start. And then don't ask me again about this until stuff starts happening because it doesn't it starts to make me second guess what I'm getting. And then I feel like I'm like, wait, am I off on this? you have an interview Tuesday with her. So maybe you hear from her then on Thursday. But make sure you're like, I'm so like, before you even walk in there, like do a quick meditation and be like, I've got this. This is the best interview ever. I did so well. She loved me so much. This was amazing. Like, build that up with the manifestation, like, and visualization. I don't care what anybody says about manifestation. Visualization works. They'll have athletes visualize the golf course or whatever, or they'll visualize like what they're going to do through, you know, race courses and things like that. And they do better because they've done the visualization of it beforehand. But I just feel like it's like, maybe even after the interview, send her a little email. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview me today. I really enjoyed it, and look forward to hearing whatever. Just I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. It was nice meeting you. It's okay to send thank yous. You don't have to ask for anything from it. It's just, I just wanted to reiterate that I really appreciated your taking the time to meet with me today. And I look forward to hearing back from you, or something like that. Or I really, I hope that I'm the best candidate, something like, it's okay to do a little like, hi, I'm here, without being an a-hole about it. I don't know if anybody else interviews here, you want to tell me if that's annoying, but you're confusing me. You can have whatever you want. That's the thing. You can have whichever one you want, but you have to decide, this is what I want. I'm worthy of it. I'm going to get it. I feel like the deputy clerk job is a better paying job, though. Am I wrong? And then I'm making a rule, you are not allowed to ask the same questions over and over and over again until you start to see movement. And then maybe you can. I've had to kibosh Ashley on this one too before. It's just like, it pays, which pays less? The data analysis or the deputy clerk? So this is what I'm confused about. You said we were talking about the data analysis, and I was like, yeah, something like, I was like, you should follow up with them. And you're like, oh, but I don't have an interview until Tuesday. And now you're saying, well, that interview is the deputy clerk. Why would you do that? like I was talking about the data analysis job, and then all of a sudden you flipped over to the deputy clerk job. So like, you're confusing me now, because I'm like, well, this is the energy I got, and then I'm like, well, that makes me question it when you say that. So have you interviewed for the data analysis job yet? I want clarity, because I need to know what energy I'm feeling into. The data analysis job is the one that was testing without the interview yet. And the deputy clerk one is the lady that's sick who rescheduled. Okay. For the data analysis one, email them and ask them, where are they at in, you're really interested in the job and you're curious to know where they're at in the selection of candidates for the job, period. Or when they'll be ready to interview people. You're just very curious. You're very excited about it. It's something you're really interested in, and you're wondering. That's okay to email that. Okay. And then just go do the interview. Just go do it. Because if anything, even if it's not something you want, just go do it for practice. It's always good to practice doing interviews and getting comfortable with that. Thank you for the clarification. And I also feel like whichever job you want, even forget about it. Why don't you just decide every job that I interview for, every job that I go after is mine? Like that's the manifestation you want. And then you have choice of like, oh, well, I actually want this one, or I met this person and they feel like they're a better person to work with. Because years ago, my sister-in-law was like, oh, I'm going to go work. And they lived in like a suburb of Milwaukee. And the job she wanted to work was a job she had worked at back in Madison. And she was like, oh, it's $10,000 more a year. And I was like, that might not be, the commute might not be worth that. Like winter commutes, it's like a 45-minute commute, but like in the winter in Wisconsin kind of sucks. And she was like, oh, it's like, so, and then I think she realized like at the end of the day, like, yeah, the commute pretty much sucked. It might've been a little bit more than that. Um, so you sort of look at it as like, sometimes what looks so good on paper, when you meet the people that you're going to be working with in person, it turns out like it looks good on paper. It's like the people, like I remember, this is going to be a weird analogy, but I was in Mexico with my friends before I moved up to New York. So I was still living in Texas at the time. So I was young, I'm like mid-20s. And there was a hot dad there, right? And we were like, hot dad. But then hot dad looked good. But hot dad spoke, and hot dad did not have a great voice, and it just sort of ruined it. Like it was like I was like, oh no, don't like, like don't ruin it. Just look pretty. So it's like kind of like that. Like on paper, it'll look real good, and then you meet the meat and potatoes of it, and they're like, they forgot to salt and pepper and all that stuff. Like they just cooked it in water and called it a day and forgot the seasonings. But it sure does look good in a picture, right? Maybe I'm objectifying men that way, but fuck, they do it to us all the time. So whatever. Okay. So that's my feeling is like, I do feel like you'll have the data analysis one, but it also, there's this part where they're like, hey, she really needs to get on board with this is mine, it's done. And I know that it's like, I have to do that to myself all the time now when I'm like, no, I'm not even going to spend 2 seconds worrying about this. It's done. It's mine. I'm done. I don't know if I told you guys this, but I forgot to sign up for an activity with the Girl Scouts. My one of the guys in our group, the fathers in our group, he and his partner own this really awesome costume shop in New York City. It's like their biggest costume shop. They've got a millinery. I don't know. They make hats and stuff like that and purses. And they like they've got contracts with Disney and with what is the circus? Barnum and Bailey, is that the one? They don't have animals anymore there. And they've done Broadway and that what's that movie? The Greatest Showman. We had the fat lip bearded woman. Like they built that costume. So he'll take a design that's drawn out and he'll like figure out how to make it look amazing. So anyway, so they have done these costumes for the circus, and the circus is coming to town. So they're like, we're gonna invite all the Girl Scouts, and he like John does the building and the costumes, and Brian is like, like all the business end and like, all the bids and all the paperworky stuff. And he's like, I'm going to put this together. Brian was like, I'm going to put this together for everybody. I was like, oh. And I started to sign up for it and I got sidetracked and I forgot. And so then all of a sudden I realized he's like, hey, I got the tickets. I'm going to pick them up. And I was like, oh, hey. And I didn't realize I forgot to finish up. And I was like, let me send you the money. I didn't send it to you yet. He's like, hold on. Let me just. And it turns out that I didn't sign up. And he's like, yeah, you didn't sign up. So, and I was like, fuck. Like, how do I tell my kids? Like, all their friends are going, and you're not. So I didn't. I said, I'm going to manifest it. That's it. Like, it's done. Those tickets are mine. I'm going to be there. We're going to be there. It's fine. I didn't tell my kids because I was like, I don't want to listen to them go, oh, I can't believe you didn't do this. So I was like, It's ours. It's done. We're there. And I did a tiny bit of visualization, but like not a whole lot. I didn't even like any second that I was like, let me just check the tickets and see how much it would be buy them. I was like, no, it's done. I'm going to do the Neville Goddard thing where he's like, you're there. You got a first class ticket. It's yours. It's done. And so then Brian called me or messaged me and he's like, oh, we got tickets. Like you manifested that. Like somebody who had like a huge amount of tickets ended up, like he was telling me yesterday, they got like, the father was, they bought like 11 tickets or something for their group. And their father was like asked to be a godfather. And that's when they're having the christening. So I was like, perfect. So my point to you is just like sit down and like without any hesitation, without any doubt, like it's mine, it's done, I got it. And like anytime that thought creeps into you where it's like, well, but maybe it's like, no, like you literally have to stop it at its tracks and be like, no, it's mine, it's done. And if you have to, just be like, Anna, I got all of those jobs. I can't believe it. I've got my little manifesting thing. I believe it. So there. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if your interview gets maybe pushed to Thursday, or there's something about Thursday with that interview with one of them. There's something about Thursday. So I don't know, maybe you'll hear about it on Thursday, one of them, but it feels like Thursday. All right, let's move on. Let me ask you this. Is your mom out of the hospital now, or are they still monitoring her? And then Gia, what is your question? You can go ahead and write it. It is a fantastic opportunity. And I told him, I was like, I feel so lucky to be able to do this stuff. Like because they're going to do some special presentation afterwards where the designer happens to be flying up from Florida, like kind of coordinated her schedule with ours. So they're going to do some kind of presentation afterwards. And then he said there's some surprise, which he loves doing surprises. So, and I'm not a big fan of surprises, but usually because I would feel okay. I know it's like, I don't know what to expect. So I'm like, okay with that. But like when people are like quietly doing surprises and then all I feel is like sneakiness behind it, I don't like that feeling. You've been applying, but nothing. So I feel like, I know this is going to sound weird. I feel like you've been applying to safe jobs, like where it's like, oh, I definitely fit these qualifications. I definitely and I feel like there's ones that you haven't done because you feel like it's just outside of the box. And they're sort of saying, start applying outside of the box kind of jobs. Like maybe you don't fit all the qualifications, but you've got a lot of, what do they call them? Silent skills, quiet skills, soft skills. That they could really benefit from. And I think I looked this up because I was like, what the frick are soft skills? And it's like, the ability to problem solve, the ability to help with like communication issues, things like that, like to listen. They're not necessarily something that you would always think of as important. When I heard what they were, I was like, oh, I can do those. I got a lot of those. So it's this feeling of you need to apply outside of the box. Like there was a woman who was doing a thing on TikTok. It's like, this is what it was. It's like, see how many no's you can get, where she was like, I would just apply to stuff that I thought there would be no way. And like, I got offered jobs that's what she said. I got offered jobs that were crazy. And so it's like, to me, it's a feeling of needing to apply outside of the box. April seems important to me. I do feel like you'll start getting some interviews and stuff in March, but April seems more important. I'm going to say this and it might scare some of you, and I don't want to scare any of you because I don't have enough details on it, but I do feel like there's going to be, so a week and a half ago, I had a dream where I was in my house, but it wasn't my house. And I looked out the window, my kitchen window, and there was a guy sitting at my table. For some reason, I have bistro tables in my backyard in this dream. I don't know, but they were like patio bistro tables have the little holes in them, like metal with the little holes in them. So I had, and they're like the taller ones. And he's sitting there and he's like working on a computer in my backyard. I'm like, this is weird. And my yard is like fenced in, like in my dream and in real life. But in the dream, and I was like, okay. And then I like went out there to see what's going on. And then all of a sudden it was like a lot of people. And apparently I had several bistro tables in my backyard. But the people were like middle to upper middle class. They were not like, they didn't look like they were blue collar workers. And they were all different races. There was men and women, all different ages. And like he had all of his belongings with him. And they were all seemed to be in the same space of being like houseless or jobless, kind of like not sure what to do. And I was like, no, no, no. I was like, because they were leaving because I thought I was going to get mad. I was like, no, let me feed you. Like, let me help you. I don't know if this is metaphorical or not, but sometimes my dreams are kind of weird. So I'm saying this thinking that maybe there's going to be some layoffs in this kind of a sector. So like when I say it's like middle to middle upper class, is sort of my backyard, right? So maybe this is like the sector where you're going to start to see some more layoffs. I don't know. You don't apply ones that you don't feel qualified to, or be no way without experience that would hire me. So yeah, it just feels like, Jay, it feels like it's important to try that. Because here's the thing. When companies are hiring right now, a lot of the reasons why I feel like there's the layoffs is because they're trying to somehow, corporations are trying to make things in their favor again. And a way for them to like, maybe they feel like, and I don't feel like this is the case, but it's like they don't want to have to pay a living wage, or they don't want to have to pay what somebody's necessarily worth. So they're willing to go a little bit more outside of the box, maybe get somebody who's a little bit more green, even though they say these are our qualifications, get somebody who's a little bit more green and eager to learn, and then not have to pay you quite as much as that person that has the actual 5 years, 10 years of experience. Hi, Joelle. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. So, but my dream was that, so that might be something that's coming, either that, or it's a lesson that I'm supposed to like, I don't know, feed people. But that might be something that's coming, and I don't want anybody to panic about it. I didn't feel panicked about it. And the reason why I say like I'm telling you it as a dream is like I think that might be something that's coming is because before 9/11 I had a dream where I had just graduated from nursing school like a few months before 9/11. And I had a dream probably while I was still in nursing school where because we were wearing our white uniforms, which are freaking terrible, the white scrubs, and scrubs are cuter now, I have to say, than they were then. They were just like real boxy. And we walked out of a building and walked out of the hospital, and like we were lining up stretchers to take people, and like there was no one to take, and we were walking around and it was like empty and everything was white, and there was buildings, but they were really short and super square, like kind of like the World Trade Center was like, they were very boxy buildings, but like by the time they came down, they were 1 or 2 stories. And there was just white all over everywhere. Everything was white. I didn't know what that meant. And there really wasn't a lot of patients to bring in. So like I'm saying, I feel like maybe some of this stuff is coming, and it feels like I genuinely don't feel like it's because I feel like a lot of stuff is created because corporations want to stay greedy. And they'll do it however they can. So maybe they'll have mass layoffs so then they can hire people back at a lower rate. And I know that sounds really shitty, but I just have, maybe I'm a little more cynical now, but it's just watching just patterns of behavior. It seems like a lot of corporations and heads of corporations will literally do anything just to keep filling their pockets, and like raising prices during a pandemic and lie about it and say that it's, supply chain issues when it's just flat out greed. I feel like there are some good people that are CEOs out there, but there's also a lot of sociopaths that are CEOs. So now that we've had a little happy moment, Gia, okay, so timing. I feel like again, April seems important in March, but I also feel like it's time to apply outside of the box for you. All right, and then Qwerty, are you here? Did you have a question? Here's the thing. I mean, it's so bananas to me that there's so much poverty because there's so much money in the world, and it's so unevenly distributed and unfairly distributed. And it's like how like look at Jeff Bezos, like that's just disgusting. And Bill Gates, like how much money do you really need? You can't tell me those people are happy. They're just not. They're just not. Happy people do not need to continue to fill, and because they're trying to fill some empty hole, right? I mean, hi Qwerty. I was asking if Abel and I would enter a relationship or will it just stay a friendship? Okay. Hi Rockdon. You started giving insulin to your dad. He's feeling much better. Thank you for helping us. But still no job. Hopefully in coming days I will get one. Yes. I'm glad your dad is doing better. And I hope the insulin was through a doctor's recommendation and not just. Okay, so let me look at his name again. Sorry, Qwerty. Abel. So this one feels a little bit slower movement. And I feel like maybe in 3 months there's some movement on there, but I don't even feel like it's like jump your bones, let's go, we're together forever. Like it feels very, I'm sorry, that's like really unromantic. But it feels like there's some movement. I do feel like he's testing the waters, like kind of has some interest, but I also feel like he's not sure where you stand. I also feel like he's a little on the indecisive side and a little bit like because I feel like y'all are kind of young. And not like childlike young or anything like that, but just men are so stupid sometimes when they're in their 20s. I mean, men are so stupid sometimes, anyways, but especially when they're in their 20s. Because I just remember being with friends with a lot of guys when I was in my 20s, and like I was like the friend that they would always like be like, "So, what do you think of this girl? What do you think of that girl?" Like, he's 10 years younger than you, yeah. So I feel like maybe in 3 months there might be like a little bit of movement more towards that, but I feel like again, I feel like he's a little indecisive, and it might be just his age. Is he in his 20s? So I genuinely feel like something might happen where you guys kiss, or there might be some kind of little moment, and then it's like, oh, and it kind of might backs away a little bit, and then maybe a few more months later, it sort of moves in the direction of more of a relationship. I do feel some reticence on his part. He's 29. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that age gap. One of my aunts is 12 and a half years older than her husband, and my cousin is like 8 years older than her husband. So it can work. And she had her first baby. You can still ask a question. That's fine. Worse. I mean, I'm just going slow today because there's not a whole lot of activity here. So. I do feel like he's dating other people. I gotta say, like, I don't think anybody seriously, but I feel like he kind of dates around a little bit. Can you validate that? And does he have ADHD? Because he even feels just like a little bit more emotionally young, and like people with ADHD and neurodivergent, they tend to like take a little bit longer to emotionally mature. I mean, he's smart, so I'm not saying he's dummy or anything like that. Just I have to tell you, this is like, I like this lip stuff. It's the, what do you call it? The Tarte stuff, but I don't like this. Like, you don't screw it up, you push it like a button. I don't like that. So is he, Cordy, do you know if he has ADHD? Oh, there you are, dear. He is dating. I just get a little feeling that I do feel like he's a little interested in you. Yeah, you could even ask him, but it just feels like, I do feel like there's interest there. I feel like he's not really sure, again, like I said. And I feel like in like maybe 2 months or so, you'll have a kiss or some kind of like makeout session or something. And then, but I don't feel like it's like full on, but it's like, oh, there's interest there. But then I feel like kind of a little bit of a back way, but not in a bad way. Okay, Dune. But then like a couple months later where it's like, okay, maybe we'll test the waters. Dune, what's your question? Because I don't think I have anybody else besides you. It's a quiet afternoon, and then we can just do some generals if you want. Oh, Joelle. Sorry, I've got Joelle here too. Hi, Bud, hey, Vade, hi. I can't say it. V. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. No, I'm not going to let you ask a free yes or no question, only because these are $12. And Pink Purple Hearts, hello. Where are you? Where have you been? It has been forever since I've seen your name on here. Only because I do donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And and I've got like a lot of people on here who come pretty regularly. And so I appreciate that it in yes or no are quick, but there's other readers who will do for yes or no. Or if you follow me on TikTok, then you can do that too. I do free ones over there sometimes. Okay. It's not to be money hungry. It's just an energy exchange thing. You could understand. Okay, Dune. Oh, when I read your question, I'll know why you haven't been able to ask a question. Okay. So, and then Joelle, what is your question? If you want to throw it up there too after Dune's, I'll look at yours. Did you pay to my other account, or did you pay to the one that the link is above there? No, not link. I'm sorry. Pink Purple Hearts. All right. And so Dune wants to know about his job after he leaves his, current job. I actually feel like you'll be, and I know this sounds interesting. I see one job being part-time, not a full-time job. I do really see you kind of delving into your writing a lot. So I don't know if it means like I do like a part-time job that's not that great, and then a part-time, like it's like it feels like there's a couple things going on there. So maybe I'm working like at a library also, or a bookstore. There's something where I'm surrounded by like the feeling of literature around me. So I don't know if it's a bookstore or like at a library. And then I also feel like I'm focusing on my writing. So I feel like I've chosen jobs where I can still pay my bills, but I also feel like it's less pressure. So I've got one that's a little bit more serious, and another where I just enjoy the area and stuff. And I also see really focusing on your writing. And I don't know if it's like I'm seeing it that way now because you've shifted some of your energy about the possibility of what you could do to keep an income. Have you been doing meditations lately? Because it feels almost like the energy has shifted a little bit. Like you've been doing some meditation work, or like, I don't know if it's like transcendental meditation. I think that's a visualization kind. You'll afford it because I don't feel like you're working just one job part time. I feel like I'm working a couple different jobs part time. So I'll end up being what my full time rate was. It just feels like I'm just approaching it at a different way, so it's less stressful. You've been off work for 3 weeks. Okay. Where's that saying? There's more than one way to skin a cat, which I don't know who skins cats, but like it's a saying. So nobody think I'm going like just in case somebody watches this back and they're like, oh my God, what a vile woman. Um, it feels like it's a different way for you to earn the same amount. You're gonna go to your kids for 1 week in March. Yeah. I just my sense is that the next job that I get is not going to be like where I'm working one full-time job like similar to the one I'm at. I feel like I'm working something that's part-time where I get benefits or whatever. I know it's different in other countries where you actually have like healthcare, um, where they actually think people are deserving of being healthy and well. Yeah, like I felt like I saw like I'm standing and I feel like there's just like stacks of books, not stacks, but like shelves of books around me. So I don't know if it's a library or if I'm working in a bookstore. But there's like shelves of books around me, and I see you like having a hot tea or something like that. It just feels more relaxed. And I also felt immediately saw you writing more. Um, so there's something about that. The other job feels more like kind of like what you're doing now, where it feels a little bit more task oriented with the computer and stuff like that. But I feel like that's just the one where it brings a little bit more money. And this one brings me up enough to like be living okay, but it's not as stressful because I'm not at that kind of a job all the time. You missed your author course? I don't, you're not done writing. So I don't know that this is necessarily part of your reading, but there is a slight rigidity in your thought process. And maybe it's a language barrier that we're having. But it feels very like, but it can only be this way, but I can only do it this way. And they're sort of saying, like, no, there's a lot of ways to get what you need to get. So, like, in the past, when I've been like, okay, how can I earn money? Like, where I'm like wanting to earn more money, wanting money to come in, wanting to have my own sort of like my own income, and feeling like very limited and boxed in. And literally, then everywhere I went, I saw help wanted signs like everywhere. And I was like, oh, and it was sort of the universe going to like, hey, you can earn money a million different ways. Like there's not just one way to get something. I want to avoid going back to nursing. This is the truth. Um, I did not hate my patients. My patients were fine. I just don't like all of the bureaucracy. I don't like having to join committees and do like, I don't want to be on a committee. I don't care about committees. Like I have no desire to be in charge of anything or a manager. I just want to go and do my job and like end of the day. I don't like crappy schedules and all that. Um, anyway, and I also just don't like the healthcare system here anymore. Like, I don't like looking at someone who's wanting to take care of their child at home and get a little extra help, and and the system is like, well, you have a $2,000 car, so that puts you over the edge. So you can either sell your car and have no car in a city like Houston, or you can get a divorce. Like, that is not something, I don't know. Blech. That is the yucky part of working in medicine. Um, so they just kind of keep saying like it's sort of learning to see from a different perspective. Like, there's other ways for you to do stuff. It doesn't have to be like, this is my next job, or it's like some other magical way of thinking. It's like, it can be a lot easier than you're making it. You're going to start writing again. You're, you're going to start writing again. I saw you writing again. So I'm not going to argue about it with you. All right. Joelle, general reading for you. Have you been having a lot of like anxiety, or like, I don't know if it's like panic attacks? Because I just felt like that short of breath thing, but I'm like, there's nothing physically wrong. I just feel that. Doing donated again. Okay. Okay. You probably did send it. You sent. Oh. Let me see. Give me a second. Um. Yes, you did. Okay, I got it. You'd rather live in the desert than in Sweden. I live in Sweden, extremely expensive cost of living. We all need to keep positive and manifest a fairer future. That's okay, Julia. I just was literally thinking that, like, while I was trying to connect in with Joelle's energy, where I was like, it was like, God, man, we all need to just see it working better. And so I want to answer. Kind of want to address that after when I do these individual readings. So Joelle, I feel like I'm going to say this. I feel like it's going to feel like business is tight a little bit for your dad, but I feel like it's going to be okay. You guys are going to squeak through. You're going to be okay. I do see you. There's some aspect where I see you. I don't know if it's like volunteering or helping or doing something on a um, philanthropic level. And I see it around children because I saw you kind of squatting down on the ground and like helping a little kid. Um, okay. I see you doing some, how do I put this? Like painting and cleaning up and doing something. So I see a building kind of like covered in water. So I don't know if it means there's heavy rains and somebody gets like a leak in the building, or worst case scenario, there's like a fire or something and like they've had to, spray the building with water. Cause I just keep, it's this feeling of a wet building. And then I see like painting or like cleaning up, doing stuff with that. I don't feel like it's one of your buildings. I feel like it's somebody like in the neighborhood or in the community and sort of coming together. A feeling that I get when I'm seeing this and I'm seeing this other thing is it's like communities coming together and really helping each other out. Um, I do believe other countries have better, again, healthcare systems and things like that in place and social services in place, but it's still a feeling of community coming together around stuff. And no, let me stop you from worrying, Dune. It's not war. It just feels like something happens and the community comes together and helps heal, fix this, build this up. It feels like it might be around a business, but I don't feel like it's your dad's business. So there might be something. I don't know what. Maybe they do something special for like a pediatric thing, a pediatric event, pediatric cancer. I'm not, but I just saw you specifically with children. And this is not to be doom and gloomy. It just feels like maybe when we're all in despair about all the terrible things that are happening, it's realizing that in those moments, do communities do come together and sort of rise up. Sorry, just got like a weird chill. So I don't know what's going on in Sweden, but I feel like there's going to be like a big government shift. So I don't know how your system is, if it's set up like a parliament, if it's set up like a, like how it's set up, but I feel like there's going to be a shift in leadership and lots of changes happening. And it'll be for the better. I do feel like 20 by 2028 it gets better there too. I don't know if anybody, if Joel or Dune, if you can mention something like that. Yeah, Dune, it's yours. You go ahead and ask. Uppsala? What's that mean? Interesting, but you live in Sweden. Huh? I'm confused. So my feeling is like I don't know why they're choosing to show me that to you now and not talking about something really personal like your love life or what's going on with it. Just feels like that's going to be really important, kind of a part of your life coming up. I was just checking readings and payments and stuff. Make sure. Uppsala is the fourth largest city in Sweden. Oh. Yes, what's your question? I mean, if you want something more, can you, Joel, just be a little more, do you mind like narrowing it down? Oh, you were saying a city to me? Hmm. Hang on. Was interesting, but I don't know what, I don't know. Hang on. Oh, Pink Purple Heart. Sorry. Oh, that's why you've been missing it. I'm traveling with my kids 3rd of March to 9th of March. Okay. And Pink Purple Hearts, I'll get yours. I'm sorry, I just ding donged around that one. Will you enjoy it? Yes, I do feel like um there's going to be moments of frustration with you, I think, because there's just a little bit of like a bickering and stuff. Um but it'll be fine. It just feels like not used to so much together time and not used to like the dynamics. And so, sort of like also being a little dysregulated, overstimulated. But I feel like overall it's a good trip. It's just like I feel like there's a moment or an evening where it's like not great, but it'll be fine. I think it's really important for you to remind yourself that like they have a different dynamic when you're not around by virtue of the fact that they live with their mom. Hi, KK. Oh, yeah, you're here. So I feel like you'll have fun. I feel like you'll find things to keep you interested. It's like a feeling of going for walks and just sort of like exploring a little bit more than you maybe wouldn't, like checking out. I feel like there might even be like a writer's workshop you pop into. I like exploring alone. Like going out, going for walks by yourself, checking out museums and things like that. That's what I mean by exploring by yourself. Um, a little bit. I feel like you said they're in school, right? I don't know. I just feel like you're gonna have a good time. They're gonna be bickering at a point, and it's gonna like make you a little nutty. That's just their relationship, and I think you just need to remind yourself of that. That it's not, just because dad's around doesn't mean they're gonna just, be perfect. I keep seeing something around your son, and so maybe it's even a little bit of a spat between the two of you. But it this too shall pass. It's kind of one of those things of like part of it is his age. It just feels like one thing and then it's fine. In a city called Irbid, and where there are some guy I saw dancing on TikTok. Oh, so that maybe that's part of the exploring. I do actually. I feel like you will. I'm not sure you'll see the TikTok dancing area, but I feel like you will visit some people you know. Again, that's a part of the exploring I see. I genuinely keep seeing very close up where I'm walking along a path and I can't tell if it's like all brick, but I see some brick, like gray brick, and I see a bird and I'm looking at a bird. Like that's what I keep seeing. This doesn't sound very interesting, but I'm like, oh, and I feel like there's some little tables around the area, but I can't see more than that. And they're not giving me like a pan out kind of view. And I do see some like ivy and some wrought iron fencing. I don't see you dancing. Sorry. I just saw like as if I was walking along and that's what I could see. And when you say, "Do you see me dancing?" It feels like that doesn't feel like that happens. I feel like it's what advice do I have for you? Just trying to enjoy yourself, it feels like it's really important for you to learn to just like go without expectation and find the joy in the experience without the expectation of if I go do this, it has to look like this. Because the truth is, like, the thing that you don't see from that TikTok guy doing the dance is like setting it up, waiting for people to be patient, like all of the frustration around getting that perfect clip. Like on Friday, my daughter and her friends were doing, they were singing some Avril Lavigne song, like, and filming it for their talent show at school. And, um, yeah, you have to record it so many different times because, like, sometimes the kids look like they're not singing at all, or they're like not excited, like there's just like not, you have to remind them like have fun, like, um, and this was all their idea, but as you watch it, you see like kids looking like that. So, um, you don't realize, like, as you're watching the final product, like what people had to do to get there. So it's sort of like go with the expectation of having fun and just enjoying yourself and like seeing what the world has to bring you, or like little to no expectation. And then that's sort of where you end up having a really great time. And it's sort of like learn to say yes to opportunities, trying new things. Um, my senses and the way they're making me feel is like there's such rigidity sometimes with your thought process of a way it has to be, that when it doesn't end up that way, it's like it feels like a fail. And it's not necessarily a fail, it's just a different experience. So it feels like just go without expectation of it looking like a TikTok thing and just see what it's like. I don't know that you'll dance. I have to be honest with you. It doesn't mean you won't go and enjoy it. I just don't know that you'll end up doing it. And I don't know why. I see it more around doing, maybe it's more around like the conversations you have, because it's like, feel like I'm talking to people. I'm really enjoying the conversations I'm having with people and learning things that way. Okay, so Pink Purple Hearts, you asked about your husband. Is he going to be moved up? And let me reread it. Oops. Okay, wait, hang on. Do I see your husband picking up rank this year? And if so, will we be moving back to Japan? I don't see you moving back to Japan for maybe 2 years. It doesn't feel right away. I don't know if he picks up rank, but I feel like a lateral move. And I don't know how, I literally don't know how any military things work at all. So I don't understand how you would make a lateral move, but it feels like, hang on, is this the eyebrow? That's the eyebrow. It's not as thick. So I'm always like, where'd you go? Um, um, no, Cindy, you can ask a quick question. Listen to me. You can always find something to do for free. Like New York City, people will spend a lot of money. I'm like, you could just literally walk around the city and like you don't need to take the tour buses because you'll see so much just walking. You'll see different neighborhoods, you'll see different things. So it's like there's a lot to see walking around Union Square. Avoid Times Square if you can. That's terrible. Um, like there's things you can do without spending a ton of money. So it's that feeling of walking around and just sort of experiencing it. Again, going with little expectation. He's switching jobs next month. Is it a lateral move? Oh, you don't know what that means. So like, meaning it's not a higher rank or a lower rank, but it's just a different job in a different area. But I'm still the same rank. Because that's what I saw. And then, yes, okay. Because that's what I saw. I was like, oh, I feel like a lateral move. That's the next thing he's doing. So that validated that. Um, So I feel like they're saying there's something he's up for in September. Um, and it's like, yes, he gets it, but it's like doesn't happen until November. So, but I don't feel you moving to Japan right away either. And I feel like because I feel like whatever's happening there's gonna be some, don't feel like it's world war, so I want to say that, but there's something political happening where they're sort of like staying where we're at for a little bit. Like they're not moving too many people around too quickly. And it feels like a very calculated decision to do that. Sorry, I'm a little cold. His monitor said once she promoted, we are getting orders to Japan. Oh, okay. So I'm happy to be wrong on the 2 years because I saw two. So maybe that's February of next year. I don't know. You don't want to go back to Japan? So I'm going to say this too. Again, there's a feeling of they're going to put a halt on movement, and I don't understand that. I don't know why. You married a military man. Isn't that the whole thing? Like what he just signed a 2-year extension with military, and I would love to move back to Japan. I feel like he might sign another extension after that, by the way. Because then I think that puts him. I mean, that man likes the military. I think he likes the structure of it. Um, he just like it's like I like that I know what's expected of me and I just do it and that's it. So we're gonna manifest that for him then, just like we're manifesting jobs for everybody else here. How about we do that? um, so you're gonna manifest that you see him getting promoted and getting the job because it's like September, November. Um, there's part of me that wonders that so I started to say like, "Oh, does he really want it?" And they're like, "No, he hasn't been a good fit for it." But it's like kind of in his best interest to not be a good fit for it, meaning the people that would be below him and around him would not be a good fit personality wise. So it's sort of like a blessing in disguise that he's not getting it. There's been so many things where like when I first started doing readings, I got asked to go and do some fair with this woman that was like more well known in the area, and she was gonna like kind of take me under her wing, and I just couldn't because I had my I don't know if it's my kid's birthday party, but there's some family event, and I was like I can't. And then she would like seem peeved at me and like didn't want to talk to me ever again after that. I was like, I'm sorry, I just like you're asking me kind of last minute. I can't just drop everything. And there's like were other things that I kind of got passed up for just recently, where a whole bunch of the people that are within the church that I'm in that are psychics too. They did some kind of movie or some kind of documentary. And they're like, several of them are like, you should have been in this. Like, you're really good. You should have been a part of this. And sometimes I think, well, why didn't I? Like, why not me? Whatever. And it's like, part of me is like, there's some reason that that's not the opportunity I'm supposed to take. Like, there's something in my journey and my destiny that's not part of it. That's not it. That's not where it's at for me. And that's okay. He was about to transfer to the army, but he chose to stay in. I don't feel like he should transfer. So it feels like for whatever reason, like instead of thinking of this as like, this is the worst thing ever and how terrible, it's like, there's some reason I'm not supposed to be. I'm just going to sit on it. Like, there's a better opportunity. And you're going to come back to me not too far away and say, like, hey, Anna, he got it. But it's sometimes if you can shift the perspective of like, it's not that you're not enough. It's that in the bigger plan of things, sometimes the puzzle pieces don't fit quite together. And again, it's not about not being enough. You're just like, oh, like when you put a puzzle together, you don't go like, oh my God, that puzzle piece just wasn't it. It's not enough. You're like, oh, it just doesn't fit there. We'll find the place for it. When we find the place for it, it'll be fine. Like, we'll find that piece. And it's like that feeling of like, you'll find that piece. He'll get there. My sense is that something comes up in September and then like it's either you find out about it in November or it starts in November. I don't know exactly what that means. And the only thing I could either put the 2 on is like the month of February next year, if that's what I'm getting. But there is a feeling around, and I know it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to say this to you. I don't care what they've said to you. The feeling I'm getting is there is a hold on movement. It's not a hold on changing ranks. It's not a hold on hires. There is a hold on movement. And I don't understand that. I don't know what it means. I don't feel like it's World War, but it feels like there is a hold on movement. So something's coming up around that. That's all I can tell you about it. I don't understand it otherwise. Okay, Cindy, did you put one in? And if not, let's do the general stuff. Okay, yeah, I got Cindy. So Cindy, do you want to ask your question? And then we can just do some general run-of-the-mill readings if you guys have any questions. If not, we can say good night. So you had a dream recently. Do tell. Okay, you killed a snake. Snakes have been coming up a lot as themes for me, and KK, are you here? Pay attention to this. One was a light colored cobra, and the other one was an anaconda. Both deadly. One will squeeze you. Okay. The anaconda was creeping up on Amari. When I killed the anaconda, it turned into a woman. A black woman with natural hair. You're suspicious now. I don't think anybody's literally trying to kill him. I want to say that. That is not the feeling. My sense is not looking at it symbolically, but my feeling is, and KK is like really great with dreams. So I'm going to, hi, Dick Shot. Dick. Oh, Nick Mishra. I don't know how to say your name. I'm gonna call you D. DM for short. So I feel like it's going to be more around like a female caregiver where you feel like you're having to come out in your stand in your power and sort of like where you would feel like you don't have to be such an advocate, but you're really going to have to stand strong and be an advocate. And then, but it feels like it will be around a woman, but I don't think you're literally killing anybody. So, and let's be honest, like anacondas are ginormous. So it doesn't feel like it's going to be such a surprise to you. But I think the surprise is that like the lengths that you're going to have to go to be protective. So, like with my kids, I had to go to a lot of lengths to get my oldest daughter diagnosed, to get anybody to listen to me, where I was like, dude, like I really think she's autistic. And I was like, well, maybe she's got ADHD. I was like, I'm pretty sure. Like, and it was like such a surprise to everybody. Yet the whole time I'm going, hey, this is what's going on. And everybody's like, oh no. Like I got a lot of gaslighting and a lot of like, you're just being a mom. And I'm like, no, I'm like pretty realistic about things. And and because she really needed a lot of support that she wasn't getting. So hang on, no, but the feeling like I have to watch myself or them around my baby. I don't feel like you have to watch yourself around your baby. I feel like it's more having to like don't doubt yourself about your feelings around the people that are taking care of your baby. Like trust your intuition. Because again, my sense is like there's this giant, like you didn't pick this tiny little gardener snake right in your dream. It's like this giant snake. Anacondas are huge, right? That like you can't miss. But maybe there's a part of you that doesn't like want to acknowledge like this person's a problem because I feel like I'm a bad person, or I feel like I'm jumping to conclusions where like, but when you meet them, I feel like you're going to know in your heart of hearts, like that person is like not, does not, should not be, or doesn't have the best interest at heart of my child. And I feel like you're probably going to have to step in a little bit more than you would like, or like then you think that you should have to. And I know it's the baby. I don't know that it's a current person. It might be a new hire that comes in. Can you give me a first name so I can? And it's more like, I don't know if she has attitude or is lazy or just like not as attentive. I don't know. And again, it doesn't feel like life and death, but it feels like you should putting diaper cream on this, or she's giving you attitude. Like I feel like you're going to notice the attitude before anything. Petal? No, I feel like it might be an L name. Hi, Regine. You can still send a payment. And then we're going to go on to general readings. I don't know. What do you do? But I also think it would be interesting to see what KK's input is around snakes and things like that, because she knows a lot about dreams. And I always like enjoy her. Like I've written her about dreams before. And I'm like, what do you think of this? Like the symbolism around them. So keep an eye out because no one else is around him. Yes, I'd love to hear her view. Yeah. So it might be somebody new coming in. So sometimes when we have these dreams, it like comes to fruition a little bit down the road. You've been dreaming about snakes too. It seems to be a theme this year, but snakes are usually about overcoming something. Oh, that makes sense why I've been seeing a lot of snake symbolism and hearing a lot about snakes and things like that. You weren't playing in these dreams. No, we don't mess around with kiddos, right? We keep them safe. Okay, Regine, what's your question? But just when I hear it, that's the feeling I get, is like having to be more protective. Like, and like to an extent where you're like, oh, I didn't really think I wouldn't think that I would have to be like this pushy about it. Like, it's like when I deal with the stuff with my kids at school and stuff, I feel like I have to be really pushy and then they get annoyed that I'm pushy. But if I just sit back and chill, like they don't want a parent to be overly involved, but because like they'll say like, oh, their parents aren't involved. But then when parents are involved, it's like, wait a minute. Like, so I don't know. It's super necessary and it's annoying, especially from somebody who's like, I never understood. It took me a long time to understand the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Sometimes some analogies I don't fully get. When I finally got it, I was like, well, but I don't want to be squeaky. I don't want to be squeaky. I just want to be able to say, like, this needs to get done. Let's do it. You know? Like, I don't want to have to be the asshole. Okay. What do I see for your immigration paperwork? Waiting on my residency card, or do you see a citizenship? So I feel like you're going to get a residency card, and then shortly after, there's something about the citizenship. Like, I don't feel like it's actually that far apart. February comes into play as being important. Not this February, next February, by the way, because I already feel like I'm in March because apparently my brain wants me to be there. Are you planning on traveling to like Ireland or Scotland or Wales, like that area? My brain's like some days where I'm like, no, it's Thursday. And they're like, it's Monday, Mom. To France and England. Are you also planning on going to like those on like an excursion or in July? Okay. Anywhere there, I feel like I feel you. So I don't, maybe this is like I don't know, but I feel you actually going to like Ireland, Scotland, maybe Wales, something in those areas. Cause that's the feeling I get. It's those really tough English accents. Like not like they're like really, they speak English, but it's like, excuse me. Not as bad as the people from the Yooper, but I worked with a woman from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. Like when I was in high school, we were living in Wisconsin. I worked at a nursing home, and she was like talking. I was like, "What country are you from?" She's like, "I'm from the Yooper." I was like, "Oh my god, you're not planning it." I'm just throwing it out there because that's something I see. But so around I feel like residency will come, and then shortly, like within months, something around the citizenship, which logically doesn't make sense to me because I feel like that should take years. But there's something about it where it's actually not that far apart. Maybe you just start the process shortly thereafter. Do you have to go to an appointment? Eventually, yeah. There may be something where it's like done over Zoom, and I don't understand that either. But I feel like you will have to make an appointment, like be in person. Just hearing little noises outside. You're very welcome. Okay, so if anybody wants any general questions, wants to know about things, now's the time. If not, we will say adieu until next week. Why did TikTok suspend Risa Tisa after her 50-part series? Who the fuck did I make waves? There's a couple things actually. So, one, they don't want to pay the money out. Two, there's something around, even if it's true, I don't know that if he filed some complaints or something, because his information got out, but I feel like there's it's around that as well. So it's like a combination of the two things. So it's not just I feel like Alexei Navalny was killed. Absolutely. Who's got a free London trip? She didn't use his name, but they figured out who he was, and so it's sort of like came about where some people can report. So it feels like it was somebody reported against her as if it was like bullying and all of that stuff. Like, so they ended up suspending it. So it feels like it's a twofold thing. Oh, I have no idea if she got it. I don't know. Honestly, One of her things popped up on my FYP once, and I just flipped through because that's not the energy space I want to be in. Like, it's just not. Like, I don't like, I have enough crap to deal with in my life. And I know people are fucked up and do all kinds of shady shit to other people, all kinds of emotional manipulation and emotional extortion. And so it's not, I mean, I've known pathological liars, so I just don't want to sit in that energy. So I don't know her whole, like, I know a little bit about it, but it's like, it's just the feeling of it got reported that way. It doesn't mean that she was doing it. It's just, I know it came out and I know it got reported. So I didn't even listen to one full video of hers, to be honest with you. It's just other stuff would pop up because it did blow up, right? So I know I gathered enough ideas about it, but I just don't want to sit in that. It's much like I don't want to watch some of the mystery, like murder type things where it's like, what do they call them? You look at unsolved cases and stuff. Like, I don't want to sit in that energy. And it's not that I think I'm better than anybody. It's just not the energy I want to sit in. I try to, like, the world is hard enough. And I've known enough. My grandfather was an organized crime. Like, I've known enough, and I have enough twisted people in my family. I just don't need to take on all the other stuff. Did Portia Williams divorce Simon Guabadia because it was a genuine concern for herself and child, or because he was caught and she didn't want to be caught with him? Okay. So hang on, Juliet. Anybody, when somebody goes viral and that information goes viral, people in every single niche will start talking about it because they want to try and pull some of that attention to their own page. Okay. These are paid questions, so they're $12 a question. We're kind of into the part now, though, where we're asking general questions about not personal things. So they're asking about just general things going on. What do I pick up energetically from them? But if you come back next week, come in early to the readings. You can subscribe. I give a little bit of a warning. I also, if you go to my website and subscribe to my email, you'll get a notification too. I don't spam email anybody, and I don't share your email or any information with anybody. I'm not out to sell or make money off of that. It's just for my own personal business. I'm going to check. Hang on. I'm going to look at it. So I don't know what he got in trouble for, but there's a tax issue there. Hang on. Sorry. It just kind of came to me. So I don't even know who these people are. There's some kind of tax issue there, and it feels like separation in order to, like, not get caught up in that. I don't feel like she has to worry about around him. I mean, there might be some emotional manipulation abuse that happens, but I think physically they're safe. I just feel like there's not wanting to get caught up in the tax part of it. Is he in trouble for taxes? Like, I don't know. That's just what I got. I literally have no idea who these people are. Huge white clots being found on top of his wall. Oh, it is a tax thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, I don't know who these people are. I don't think Wendy Williams will be better. Okay. So, I hope you understand. So wait, I want to look at the white clots. I don't think it's the vaccines that cause them. I genuinely think, I think COVID causes it, but not the vaccines. I don't know if that makes any sense, because the vaccines don't give you enough viral load in order to, like, it just gives you a tiny amount in order to create a thing. Now, it's not to say that people don't have side effects from them, but my sense is it's actually getting COVID infection. And I really genuinely believe there's a lot of people who are getting COVID and the rapid tests aren't flipping to positive, because when was it? see, when we got back from Florida, one of my daughters got COVID, but none of us got it, didn't have any symptoms of it. But then my other daughter got COVID, I think in October, maybe, or November. And then I got it, but I never tested positive for it, but I had every single symptoms. And then it like threw my body into MCAS. It was like super amazing. But I had every single symptom of it. So I think there's a lot of people who are actually getting COVID, but not testing positive for it. And I think that that's where these clotty things are coming up. Yeah. So, and there's actually, there's somebody who came out, I don't know if it was a doctor or who, what medical person was saying that like, there's a lot of people who are getting COVID. It's showing a lot in the wastewater, but like they're either not testing because it's not strong enough, but it doesn't mean you can still get with a mild case, still get long COVID and issues and stuff with it. But there's a lot of people who are testing and the rapid tests aren't testing positive, and I didn't stop to listen long enough. I was like, yep, knew that one. I didn't stop like long enough to listen to the whole thing. Um, I, I do, hang on. So wait, I want to go back to the Wendy Williams thing and then I'll come back to KK's question of the earthquake thing. So I don't feel like Wendy Williams is going to be better. I do feel like she's going to continue to go downhill. There is something for me where her aphasia and the stuff going on in her brain is actually directly connected. I know she had a cocaine issue. There's something with that. There's a connection of like long term where it affected her brain and caused injury. I don't know who's in charge of her. What do you call it? Where they're something ship. I can't think of it. Conservatorship. I feel like it might even be her son. There's a lot of greedy people around her, but I don't feel like she's going to get better. I got to be honest. It's a random lady the family doesn't know. I see something, so then maybe her son will take over the conservatorship because I see like a young man around her, like sort of kind of taking over. Real quick, June, I got no. And I literally heard, where are they going to go? I feel like no. Okay, earthquakes. I do feel like earthquakes. So I'm getting specifically more like, it might be the northern part of California, but like the northwest area. But what's interesting is I feel like you might even feel an earthquake in like the central part of Canada, which I don't understand that. But like when I lived in Hoboken, we had an earthquake. It was like a 5 something. And like I was in the bathtub at the time. So it was weird. Like all of a sudden my bathtub water started swishing back and forth. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I'm seeing like, I wish I knew geography better in Canada. But it feels like not quite center, maybe a little bit more to the east. And it doesn't feel major, but it does feel like something. Oh, I don't feel like it'll be LA. I feel like it's more north of LA. I know LA is supposedly due for one, but I don't feel like it'll be LA. I think LA might be more like 2026, to be honest with you. Like they'll have small ones, but nothing big. Let me look at a map. I'm like, I don't know. Um, that's so weird. No, just the way my map pulled up, like I just typed in Canada. So maybe it is more central. Okay, I'm gonna show you my map and show you where. Um, so I see it kind of like, here, sorry for the shine. Hang on. Let me try and get it to where you're not seeing the shine. Oh, that's so obnoxious. Okay, and I'm not a weather guy. Where's my finger at? Come on, camera. Sorry. Like this area was what I was seeing. So it feels like, I don't even know that Vancouver will get it because Vancouver is like sort of on the southern part of Canada, but like our northwest northwest side. It feels more like the north or northern west, like what is that? Wyoming? Is that Wyoming or Oregon or I don't remember. Washington, Portland area, maybe Northern California. Not Portland, but Oregon. Washington, Oregon, Northern California area. I don't know that Vancouver would just feel it slightly. And then let me see. Canada is Manitoba, is that MB? Oh, and maybe like Newfoundland area, like Canada, Newfoundland area, that kind of area. I don't know. Clearly. So Manitoba is MB, I guess. British Columbia tends to get them. So I don't know. That's just what I saw. Like, cause I saw like the lake, the water area. I don't know if it's a lake or a sea. I don't know. Like quite literally, I don't know. I just know that the people I've met from Canada are nice and most of them are hockey players. So, um, if that doesn't stereotype them, I should take that back. I know people like clients that have lived in Canada and they're all females, but women. Okay, so do I see communities coming together to push world leaders? I don't feel, by the way, I don't feel like they're going to go back. I don't feel like they're leaving. I have to tell you this. I'm going to say that again, June. I don't feel like it again. Do I see communities coming together to push world leaders to creating a fairer future? So my feeling of what's going on right now is there is a lot of push to have more control. And it's something that's been put in place for a long time of people to, through fear, through like, look at what just happened in Alabama. If you don't know this, like in Alabama, there was a lawsuit because somebody wanted more money for the loss of their accidental destruction of their embryos. And embryos for IVF were considered property until that point, and now they're considered babies. And then the judge who wrote the, I don't know, what do you call it? I don't know, whatever they call it, like of why he chose that. He actually used apparently Bible to back it up, the Bible to back it up, which is a big problem because we have a separation of church and state, supposedly. So I don't know that it's like world communities coming together, but I feel like it's a bigger push from the majority of the populations to start shifting things. And like part of this is also like that last dying breath of the old guard wanting to keep things the same. Just like I've said this before, like when I worked in nursing and we were first switching over to a computer charting, all the old nurses were like, oh, I can't do this. And the young people were like, grow up, suck it up, get over it. Like, this is not a huge thing. So it's like that grind where it's like you're grinding and halting and shifting directions. So things are going to start changing, but it's going to take a little bit. It's not going to look so pretty before we get there. How many kids in total is Sierra and Russell Wilson going to have? There's some rabbits out there. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I literally heard 10. But do they have kids from, I feel like there's kids from other relationships. Yeah, a lot of mayhem before we see a fairer future. Agree. That's exactly what I feel. Yeah. There's a guy on TikTok. I don't like love all his things, but I do like he reads all of the cases and stuff. I don't always agree with everything he does, but so remember, like, just because I'm like, oh, I watch this person, it doesn't mean I agree with everything that they're saying or doing. But for the most part, he's a pretty, whatever. What's his name? Hawk. I feel like the old nurses right now. Yeah, I'm literally saying I can't do this every day. I don't know. I just, the more and more, like, as the older I get, the more I see things, I'm like, boy, this is like a really kind of messed up system that we've created and that we bought into. And the reason why we buy into it is because I think you're just too young to realize, especially as women, that it's really not in anybody's best interest, even cis white men. You said that, yeah. So do they have other children between them, though, besides those 4? And it may not be 10, it may be 10 pregnancies, not 10 living. So I'm going to say that too. She has 1 outside and they have 3 together. Oh, okay. So it may be 10 pregnancies. Sorry for the chewing. Why is it taking Billy D. Williams so long to come out? I mean, did he really need to come out? Like, I have no idea who half these people are either. So I'm like, I don't know. I'll just answer the feeling and get around it. So you're not uncultured. I just feel like there's a lot of people in the world who make their presence known. Then it's wherever you're kind of moved towards it. I also live in a bubble because there's lots of stuff locally where I'm like, where is that place? And people are like, oh. I'm like, I live under a rock, apparently. Like, okay, so Billy D. Williams, it's like, it feels pretty obvious, like he has. Why do people take so long to be open about it? Is because so for a long time, and I think parts of the world might go back to this. That was just such a feeling I had yesterday where it was like, oh, there's going to be a lot of, in some of the red states in the United States, there's going to be a lot of couples that might have to go back to saying they're roommates. We're best friends, we're roommates, and not be able to openly say like we're partners. It was someone I was watching on TikTok and it was her and her spouse, or I don't know if they're married or not, but they're building a home and a life together. And it was just like, oh, it was a feeling of they're going to have to go back and just say they're roommates. And I don't know that it'll be illegal, but it's just feeling of like needing to, for safety, needing to like not be open. And, like, I feel like we're going to make a little bit of a regression even so. I feel like it's going to all turn around, but I've always said this, it's going to look yucky before it gets better. So my feeling is that around him, there was a lot around, there's also around contracts, signing contracts. And sometimes within those contracts, this is the feeling I get within some of the contracts he signed, it was sort of like, you have to present this way. And like, if you don't, you lose your contract with penalties, blah, 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 blah. So it's sort of like, I have to present this way. I know I heard something about Michael Jackson having contracts that said, like, you can't ever talk about relationships. You can't ever talk about this or that because you may alienate audiences, whichever way. So you just sort of have to look like you're single all the time, even though he had girlfriends and wives and stuff like that. So it's this feeling of like, he had to present one way for so long for his career because of contracts that it was sort of like, became like, and now he doesn't have to do that. And he's sort of like, well, what's the point anyway? Your guides tell you when other psychics are giving out fake information. Yes. Yes. I'll look at them like, well, that's bullshit. And I just keep moving. Like, there's so, and they also show me when like people who are teaching manifesting and teaching like certain things, I'm like, oh, they're not in it because they really believe in it. They're just in it to make some money right now. They're not really like, there's one person in particular who I'm mutuals with. So I don't want to say anything. I'm saying they, because I'm not going to tell you who, whatever is. And I watched them do readings and they're, looking quick. Like they say something and then they look quick right away. It's like, they don't sit confident enough in it. Like, I'll look and see what you guys write, but it's because I've like been off blathering forever. And I'm like, wait, maybe I need to check in and make sure I'm reading the right person. And then I've seen them switch to another thing where it's like, it looks like they're just they just want to make money and they're not really convicted in what they're teaching. They don't really fully believe it. There's other people that I see teaching stuff and I'm like, oh my God, they're not grounded. I think they're manic and like they're connecting with something, but they're not really teaching good stuff. I'm also really a bit leery about like the general readings that people do where they're like, it's happening for you. You're manifesting it. Like they're coming back in, that stuff. I'm like, how can that be? I mean, yes, I guess you can see that story for maybe 30,000 people because there's 9 billion people in the world, but I'm leery of that, to be very honest with you. And I've watched people who are giving general readings and then they're like, and buy this. Like, I get that you need to get your bag and stuff, but I'm like, you're full of shit right now. Like that's not a reading. You've written a script to get somebody to buy something. Hi, Rothka. Hang on. Dune said, will racism increase I feel like it's going to increase a little bit. And then by 2030, that's going to start to trail away. Will Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox last? No. No. I don't know what ODD is, but Odd Couple. I thought it was no, I don't think that they will. Yeah, I don't. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy for people to last. And like, hopefully, you find the love of your life. I just feel like there's a little bit of dysfunction there. Dishka, these are general readings right now. They're not, so they're kind of like, as you can see, that nobody's asking anything personal. The personal readings section ended. When you ask a personal question here, they're $12 a question, and I donate 30% to charity, to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, because food scarcity is real. Where do you see Northwest in 10 years? Oh, good Lord. Okay. She's so much yes. She is so much like her father. I hate to read on kids because so much can change, but I worry about her having mental health issues like her father, to be very honest with you. I mean, look at so many really successful people like that are they kind of can be a little narcissistic. I think, Kanye is. And also successful. So, but the little bit I've seen of her, I'm like, ooh, like every time I watch it, I'm like, ugh. And I don't even watch that much of it because I really don't want a lot of that kind of content to come across my FYP. Like, I don't really want little kid stuff to come up. I like animals. I mean, I love my children, but also like I don't want to see people's kids. Like, I don't think I don't want to lend energy to that because I think kids should just be kids and not entertainment or fodder for, the world like that. One of my best friends, her son is a professional actor. He's been in movies and stuff, and like they literally don't take any of his money. It's just for him. So he's got the Coogan Law accounts and all of that, but then like everything else is just tucked away for him. My friend is like, we want him to be able to buy an apartment and invest. We want him to have money to set up. Like, if he's doing this, this is his money. Is not, we don't live off of this. Her husband has a full-time good job, whatever. She has a company she's running. And like, they don't take any of his money, but like we were talking about another kid that they know that's an actor and signing some contracts as they're going to come into a project. And like they signed it really quick. And I was like, oh, I just like got such a like, I was like, ooh, they're using his money to like live off of. And they have to have some set aside by law, but like they're using his money to live off. And she goes, oh yeah, I bet. Like it's just like, I don't want to tell too many details just because ain't nobody's business. But I don't think that adults should be using their children to make a living. Like when my friend's son does this, like it's just his money. It's like literally like if you had a summer job, he's just getting paid a lot more. So, okay. So the stuff with Northwest just really bothers me because her mother could protect her a lot more and she shouldn't be out, I don't think, in the public. I don't think that helps a child develop well in that format. What do I think of when people who are really good mediums or intuitives or channelers who go super conventionally religious? I think that we all have a journey to take. So like when you take somebody who's, and I don't know that she was a good medium or anything, but because I never really saw her do readings other than her angel cards, but like take somebody like, what's her name? Doreen Virtue. She was like a really great person. I used to like read her books and like have her cards and stuff like that. And because she was a really palatable person to like make that entry into spirituality, because it was like, it towed the line of Christianity, still used angels and things like that, which was like, so it was like, it was easy for me to get in and like kind of chew it up and like digest it a little bit and feel safe. And then she like flipped and went uber religious and was like, I denounce all of the things I've done through this, because this is not the way of Jesus. And like, she's like really flipped. I think that that's a part of her journey. And I think it doesn't take away from the lessons and the work that they've done and taught. And you can still learn from that. Much like I love Neville Goddard, right? But some of the language he uses was problematic just by the fact that he was alive in the time that he was. And they used words like, not N-I-R, but N-I-N-E-R-O. I don't even want to say it. So he would say things like that. And you're like, but in that time, that was standard to say that. And it wasn't like, it was offensive, but it wasn't recognized, right? And honored. That like, that's not okay to speak that way, to like degrade and all of that. So people, so I think that you can, even when somebody does that, it doesn't negate the lessons that they were teaching through those moments. That's just part of their journey. I don't know. That's my thought on it. Like much like I really like some of the things that I learned through Abraham Hicks, but when I went to an actual conference, I was like, this feels a little culty to me, and it's weird. I'm not really into channelers that much because there's a weird thing where they go, I've entered now, right? Bashar guy does that. And I'm like, oh, come on. Because I've channeled and it's like not like that. But I feel like there's a like we gotta make it like real so you'll feel like it's somebody else is entering my body. But it's like, yeah, but it doesn't happen that way. Like so there's part of me that really does like kind of question what he's doing and the authenticity of it. I'll say that. I know a couple of people who renounced their work, a lot of which I found life changing and puzzling. Yeah, I mean, but that's their journey. So, like, just because they're like, I'm not doing this anymore, I don't believe in it, doesn't mean it's not real or valid or helpful. It just means they decide I'm not in alignment with that anymore. I'm not in alignment with stuff that I used to believe at the beginning of my like learning how to do readings and things like that. Not in alignment with anymore. Does it mean that it wasn't valuable or wasn't helpful at the time? No, I reached the people that I needed to reach and help and plant the seed and whatever. And I needed to go through that stuff to get to where I'm at. I mean, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't know that I really believe in, I don't know how much I really believe in like the idea of like angels and gods and goddesses. Like, I just feel like it's this energy and there's a way that it will use itself or translate in order for anybody to understand it or feel comfortable with the information that it comes through. But I don't know that it's a being. I mean, like individual like energies that come through. And like even when I say guides, I'm like, that's just a part of that system that I connect with. I think sometimes I use the language because it still makes you comfortable, but I don't know that it's all of that. And that's where I'm at on my journey. Does that make it less beneficial or helpful? I don't think so. I think it's just part of my journey. Um, so hang on. Julia said, can horses communicate with you? Yes. If so, do animals have a mature brain like ours? Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. And they find us quite confusing and annoying. Yeah. I saw like a dolphin and it made me so sad. My daughter was watching a video and it was a dolphin playing with a little girl. And it made me really sad. Like it made me really sad that we have these really incredible, intelligent beings that can learn easily from us and they're confined to such small areas. Like as much as I love going to zoos and going to see animals and connect with them, it's also really sad. And then there's part of me that feels guilty for even having my bunny because I'm like, oh, she's like away from her family. Like we took her from her family. Um, and that, I mean, we love her and we connect with her, but still there's part of me that's sad for her for that. Like, and then I think about like the like animals having babies and like what that must feel like to have your babies taken away from you and the heartache that they must feel. I mean, you know that cows grieve their babies that are taken away. They grieve the loss if their baby dies. So I don't know. But yeah, they can totally communicate. I actually believe Michael Jackson did have biological children. I think his children are from his sperm. I just think he had surrogate donors for those. And then I don't believe the allegations against him were true. I do think that there was some inappropriate things, but my feeling more and more I watch it, there's a lot of weird things that happen that people do to control other people. Money is a very strange motivator. And they say like he had a lot of twisted upbringing, but they say like if you were to win the lottery, right? It's not, the lottery money is not going to change you. It's just going to amplify who you already are. And like when people are like, oh, the curse, they got divorced. It's like, they were probably going to get divorced anyway. That just made it financially easier to do it. And they were probably on the way to having a heart attack anyway. It's just, you just noticed it more and we're like, oh, they didn't take care of themselves. Or like addiction was already probably an issue. It just, again, amplified it. Confirms for me, I do my best. Yeah. That's all you can do is just like, is it okay if I have a right? Like give them space to make the choice. Which were who we never see them except those on one kid's. Yeah. Does the grief and strong emotions that animals feel when their babies are taken away remain in? No. However, the fear and stress that they're going through in the process to be slaughtered does. So that's why prayers are important. That's why asking, like when you're asking for, saying, speaking gratitude over your food, that's what that's about. It's for that life that went through that, sending blessings, sending good energy to it. That's why it's really beautiful to watch indigenous people when they do kill an animal. They thank it as after this happened, and they send blessings to it and blessings to the earth. It's not just a like, got him, look at this winner I have. I'm hoping they ban competition on animals. They deserve it. Like they do. Those kids are his biological kids. They're from his sperm. They're not his egg because he doesn't have them. And I don't think there's any other children than those ones. But you're meaning biological through natural. And no, he doesn't through that. I hear cows crying. Oh, they do. And I love cows. I have to tell you, like, we went to this little thing, and there was a little baby cow, and I just was like, oh my God, he was the sweetest thing ever. And I felt so terrible because he was in this small little pen. But like, when I was a child, I had such a fondness for all animals, and I sort of kind of moved out of it, and I don't know why. But like, and I think maybe because I thought, oh, maybe I'm making up what they're communicating. But now I know I'm not. I don't know. Any more questions? If not, I'm going to say goodnight because we're 2 hours in, 2 hours and 10 minutes. But I'm enjoying this. Keep peppering me with questions. When is he going to shut up? Never. That man doesn't know how to shut up. The day he dies, he does not know how to shut up. It's, I don't know. I can't say, oh, he's a narcissist, but there's definitely some traits that are definitely some mental illness issues. Something. Good to see you, Radka. To go walk on my treadmill for a little bit because I forgot to do my ice skating as exercise. Is he from another planet? No. I have such a mix of feelings about when people say somebody is an alien. Because here's the thing, like, I don't know. No, he's not. I'm not going to throw out and just be like, no, that doesn't exist. Because anything really could exist, right? I do believe in aliens, and I do believe they're on our planet, and I do believe our government works with them. I felt their energy when I've gone through Washington, D.C. And I wouldn't be surprised if somehow we had alien DNA just in general. But I don't know. It's not going to change my day-to-day life. It's not going to change, like, it's just like, could it be possible that someone is just human and that much of an asshole? Yeah. And that's most likely what it is. In order to be like, he was born into a ton of privilege. And his family makes a lot of blood money I'm pretty sure off of their, not diamond places, but different quarries that they have. I don't know I can't remember which ones they have, but and a lot of people, in order to get really high up, they kind of aren't really empathetic and thoughtful and kind. They are kind of like there's something wrong with them. Like, look at Trump. He's a freaking sociopath. Um, I mean, look at anybody who's a head of a really big company. They're not great people. And like, look at KK said, but he definitely wants to be from another planet. I definitely think he wants to be from another planet for sure. Like Stephen Hawking, it just came out. He's all mixed up in the like it doesn't matter. It's like at some point, do I think that it'll be that way forever? No, I don't think it will be that way forever, where the people who are lauded as these really amazing and special people will be these narcissistic, crazy, greedy people, because we're shifting times. Like, you look at this astrologically, Pluto is moving into Aquarius. So the next 20 years, there's going to be shifts where we're not so focused on capitalism. Oh, I'm so glad. That's so sweet. Thank you, Julia. So we're not, I mean, times are shifting. We're just like kind of at that beginning of the shift, though. Like, we're still going to have a foray back into Pluto and Capricorn at the end of the year for a couple of months. So, and I don't know a lot about astrology, but I can tell you, when I talk to my friends that are astrologers, I'm like, oh, that makes sense, because and I can either I'm doing a reading for somebody else. I'm like, and they'll say, yeah, here it is in their chart. Or, and I say, oh, what I'm going through, that totally makes sense, like planetary wise, or it makes sense, this was going on during that period of time. So I'm waiting for, apparently, February like 26th, when something goes over into Aries. That's like a big deal for me, because I'm a 0 degrees Aries rising, and there's some conjunction that happens at 0 degrees Aries rising in February of 2026. So I'm like, bring it. I'll take it. Supposedly that's a really good thing. My friend Victoria, was like, I've only seen that like when people have this, when they have this and this happens, like it's a big, like it's good. So wait, is it true that Taraji P. Henson saw her button line of getting blacklisted? Getting blacklisted after complaining that she suddenly changed her tune. Wait, can you either reword that, because it's not registering in my brain. What? I'm not looking forward to Pluto going back into Capricorn later this year for 2 months. I feel it will be chaotic. So it might be. And I say that like, especially for me. So I'm Cancer Sun, Aries rising, 0 degrees Aries rising. And apparently, and my Cancer, like literally, had I born, like someone said to me, like if I had been born like less than 15 minutes later or something like that, I would literally be a Leo. Like, they're like, you were so, I'm like 29 degrees and 59 minutes Cancer Sun. Like, it's like that, like Hachu, you would be like a different person. I was like, oh, I was wondering when my kids are going to have dentist appointments. Just got the reminder. So they say like those signs, I don't know which signs, I don't know if that's that mutable or not, but the first signs of the seasons or whatever, I don't know what they're called. Like, they had a really hard time with, you're a Libra and Libra rising. Oh, so you had this too then. So it's you too. A really hard time with the last like 15 years, basically 15, 20 years. It's that Pisces being in Capricorn was like a lot of lessons learned. It was like really, difficult time period. So I'm kind of like, I fucking went through the worst of it already. So 2 months, truck that out, right? I can do that. I can handle that. Just a little more. Just a little more. Oh, wait, you're also a Libra and Libra rising? That's a lot of indecisiveness. Don't give me too many choices. I could do a live with Victoria. Maybe I will. I don't know how to do that on she's out on the West Coast. So I don't know how to we could do it on Instagram. I know that for sure. I don't know how to do it on here. And I don't know if she has enough on TikTok for me to invite her in. I think you have to have 1,000. When Pluto went into Cap in 2008, there was a financial crisis. There was, but I don't. So here's the thing, because it's the end of it. So there was, but I also feel like, so I've said I feel like there might be a little hiccup, but it's not going to be anything like 2008. So I'm going to say that. And it feels like, think about when it went in, it was like, then it was like in. And it was like, then just to continue to that. And I don't feel like that's going to be the case. So that's why I'm not so worried about it. Cause I'm like, this is just the last splatter of the like nasty fart that came out. Sorry, that's so gross. Sorry. But like, it's just like, oh God, sorry. Oh, that's gross. Sorry if any of you were like, whoop. Remember, I was a nurse. I was, oh God, never mind. I won't tell you the story, but I was like, whatever, never mind. Was Taraji P. Henson afraid of being blacklisted that her change? Yes, absolutely. Because they will do that. Absolutely. I think that's, and here's the thing, not even I think, I know that that's why a lot of people stay quiet, because they're worried about it affecting their income. It's why a lot of people don't come forward about sexual harassment. It's why a lot of people don't come forward about hostile workplaces. It's why people stay quiet, because they're like, I don't want to lose my job. And it's not just, I want to say this, it's not just in Hollywood. It's very evident when it happens in Hollywood. Like you see, Julia Ormond was like, when she was in Sabrina, she was in a lot of stuff. She was such a fabulous actress. She's so beautiful. And all of a sudden she wasn't in anything. And it was because she came forward and complained about some of the behavior she was receiving. One of the folks that made Barbie going to add Barbie's true bestie, Christy. I don't know who Christy Burry is. I have to tell you this. I don't think that there's going to be another Barbie movie. I don't know that it's going to be a franchise. I don't feel like it's going to be. Christy Barbie. I only know Skipper. I don't think it's, I have to tell you, I don't think that I will be surprised if there's a follow-up. If it is, it's going to be a while before it, because it feels like the ideas that come up for it and things like that are just sort of fall flat. Like it doesn't quite cross over or something. And I don't know if it was Greta Gerwig or who said that it's like, we kind of did it. Like there's not more for us to do here. I do feel like there's going to be some executives that try to push it, but I feel like it doesn't get wings. It doesn't take off. Is Tyler Perry really out here doing? Yes, he is. Mm-hmm. Will Hollywood continue to thrive? Yeah, but sort of in a little bit of a different way. It's not hit its death rattle yet. It's not nice to say that way, but I do feel like there's more room for opening for more independent films, people wanting to stay away from doing the AI stuff. and working with. So it's going to just adjust itself to work on with more independent work. In order to like, and there's going to be more stuff with, yeah, it just feels more independent work, more independent projects. Will we ever see Nene Leakes back on TV? Yes and no. So I don't feel like any big things, but I feel like she'll be doing small things here and there. She feels like she's tired to me. Like it's not like she doesn't have that drive and that like aggressive need to like put herself out there. I feel like she's just sort of like recuperating or regenerating kind of her energy. I feel like he can, but I don't feel like he will. So you said, can Jason Mitchell ever make a comeback? I feel like he can, but he won't. All right. Anything else? And then I gotta go because I got a kids and dinner and stuff and bedtimes, school, all of that good stuff. Yay! I can't believe that it's like almost March already. Is 90 Day Fiance ruining lives? Yes. Yes, and yes. And so are a lot of other reality shows and things like that. Yeah. I think my kids are going to be. Oh, what about that? Will Scrappy and Erica get back together? Who's calling themselves Scrappy? I feel like briefly, but not long term. It feels like we're gonna, it feels like a 2-month thing, and then being like, that's a hard no. I do feel like you're gonna see continue to see more divorces like this year and next year in Hollywood, especially in like bigger name couples. I'm not naming anybody because I don't feel like, that's like not the area I want to go to. But I feel like you're gonna see bigger ones where you're like, no. But like they've been pretty unhappy for a long time. And again, just like saving face, not financial reasons, but like, how people do, like even like people on Instagram, like, oh, look, we're so happy, happiest couple ever. And then they're really not. Okay. Yes, Julie, you go to sleepy. It's late there. Will we see some new seats in the House and Senate after some dismissals? Yeah, there's going to be some flips. All right. I think that's it for me. I'm done. I got it because I got to go get everybody ready for bed and dinner and all of that stuff. So I will see y'all next week. Come join. All of you come join again. It's nice to have you here. I enjoy this. And have a fabulous week. Come check out my TikTok. I'm TikToking more regularly. I even got bold enough to film one while I was in the ice skating rink waiting for my daughters during their class. All right. Have a good one.